What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Going for Three podcast and episode 30. It's taken us a while to get to this point, but we're back now. And you know, this time, format a little bit different, but today we got the AOB, the Advocator of Buckets, Chris Collins. How you doing?
Going on, man? It's been a little while, but I felt in my heart, that the people they need their advocator. They need it.
Yeah,
So I'm here
exactly.
to advocate.
Yeah, you know, but a lot of things have happened over the course of the months leading into the eventual NBA regular season tipping off next Tuesday. But so we decided, give a little divisional breakdown about, teams off seasons, just free agency draft, and a little bit of like kind of like the thoughts on like some of the stuff in the preseason as well, and just kind of where we see it kind of like shaking out for them for certain teams this year. Um, so we're starting off with the Atlantic Division, which as I was putting down like notes and stuff for it, I didn't realize that this was probably like the most loaded division for from a comp perspective, as far as like teams that could possibly make playoff berths, and it's actually
Yeah,
pretty
I
loaded.
I could definitely say that they're in the conversation for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like other ones that I probably can't think of right now, but so I guess we start with like the start with the Brooklyn Nets, probably the more media covered team for the beginning couple of months of the off season. But looking at like their free agency, I guess it was mainly like
Yeah.
Royce
So,
O'Neal, not Royce O'Neal. It was mainly like Marquise Morris and T.J. Warren, right?
well, yeah. Well, first, I just want to. I feel like we should touch on the pieces that they lost. They let Bruce Brown walk. Not
Yeah,
really sure as to why, but you know, they made the decision. But yeah, they decided to bring in TJ Warren, Morris. Um, they also re-signed Claxton. Those TJ Warren and Claxton deals are very, very cheap. With TJ Warren being on basically a 1 year prove it, and then Claxton just kind of a cheaper like re-signed.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess they ended up trading their first round draft pick, which was going to be low anyway. But they ended up trading it to the Jazz for Royce O'Neal to replace Bruce Brown. But like I said, to me, that doesn't make sense. He could have just re-signed Bruce Brown and kept that draft pick and did something else with it.
oh yeah, most definitely. Probably could have found another suitable like probably rotational piece, but
Probably a better center. I know some people like Claxton. I think he's a good player to come in, but I don't know if he's a good solution starting wise, especially in the East when you have to deal with all those monsters up top.
yeah, and then I think behind Claxton is like I guess Deron Sharp kind of takes the minutes uh that the older guys were getting last season, but I mean they're still very much like you said like undersized. They're very
They're gonna be
athletic,
they,
but
they're gonna mess around and be throwing Ben Simmons and KD at the center sometimes. I think, to be honest.
most definitely. I look. I think at one point in the rotation in one of their preseason games, I think they had been at the five as an
Uh,
experiment.
I mean, it's definitely an option, especially like when they're playing those teams in the minutes that like a Giannis or like an Embiid isn't like in. Definitely could be some of those matchups when you use that, and teams like there. I mean, there are other teams that they wouldn't even have to worry about it as much. Like the Celtics right now. I mean, you got Tom Lord having, being out. You got Gallo getting hurt, and then Al Horford isn't like really considered a banger. So I mean, it's not. I don't think there's too many teams that could really punish them outside of those big two. But I mean, they're gonna see them. If you want to have success in the East, you're gonna see them. But like, you can get away with it against other teams, just like in the regular season for sure.
Yeah, because mainly just for the simple fact of which, 'cause, like you said, like Giannis or like an Embiid isn't like in. Definitely could be some of those matchups when you use that. You know, in a couple of the games that I have like witnessed of him. I think I might have watched like the very first one, but the ability that Ben Simmons still possesses as far as like seeing the floor, rebounding, defending, like a lot of those things are still going to be like accessible, and then putting that at the five against like a decent majority of other teams, like when you can, like it's basically just stretches them out a little bit more, get a lot more. They can rip and run a lot more if they have been at the five, and kind of a similar thing with KD. But I mean, I guess that just means like you get more spacing rather than like all the other necessities. So
Yeah,
but
feel that.
mm-hmm.
And then just one more thing, well, a couple more things on the Nets. For me, I think it was a huge. I think their offseason, even though I do like some of these signings, some of them are kind of questionable. But for me, I think the offseason for them is a huge success because they were able to keep Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Oh, most definitely.
They were able to survive this tumultuous offseason and keep their two best players. I think it's going to be interesting the Steve Nash dynamic, but you know
Yeah,
they're there. So
yeah. But I mean, with them, it's like since like they pretty much kept it intact. I mean, I seen in like an interview or like a little kind of like open mic type thing that Kyrie was in where he was talking about how defense was something that he really like wanted to focus on or enhance a little bit more because not to say that he was like a lacking defender, but there were a couple times where like might take a break on a possession or two, but that's those little things as well as like just of course like every team like being healthy and stuff, but those things can potentially make it to where if all goes well, this team still can get back into the championship race that they were in like 2 seasons ago. But
I don't think they're out of it.
yeah,
I'm not one of those. I mean, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving as a championship contending team. Yes, last year the whole season was up and down. Kyrie was uh literally going through what was it? What was it? Like lint or
uh,
something. Correct me if I'm wrong.
wait, that's what he was going through. Oh wait,
He was literally like not eating during this like the
oh yeah, he was
playoff series.
fasting. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So yeah, excuse me, everybody. That was my ignorance. He was fasting, and he wasn't. But I'm just like, yeah, he wasn't even
yeah,
eating. And obviously we can talk about Steve Nash's failings as a coach. That problem may still be there, but I mean, it's anytime you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you're in the championship race. Like, in my opinion, there's no other duo in the East that is better than them. You could argue the Sixers, but I have to see what James is going to look like to get you there, or for me to go there. And if Ben
yeah.
Simmons is going to come back and play like Ben Simmons, which I mean I 100% expect him to, because it's not like he's going to be pressing to score the ball. Just come facilitate, defend, and do the little things. You have plenty of shooting around you. Their only issue is literally like that lack of like a proven defensive big. To me, that's their only weakness. Um, I do think that Steve Nash is going to have to make some adjustments to his offense. You can't keep running a Mike D'Antoni type offense without a Mike D'Antoni player, and he doesn't have a Mike D'Antoni player on his team anymore.
Oh, for most definitely.
Maybe he can try to fit Ben Simmons into that mold, but I mean, I'm of the mindset that you need like a point guard that'll be able to shoot and score and be a threat in that manner, a la James Harden, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I mean, the talent is there. The talent is there. I mean, listen, you got goddamn Kevin Durant,
That's really all you
and I
like. That's really why most teams like. That's why most teams like when he was in the running for like a trade conversation. Like everybody, even teams that literally probably weren't even going to be in the competitive race, wanted Kevin Durant. Like that's how much of an impact he can have
facts,
on a team.
facts. Because listen, at the end of the day, we got a bunch of people talking a bunch of shit about about something that They just don't get. At the end of the day, this is goddamn Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Arguably, it depends. I mean, yeah, he took a hit this playoffs, but arguably top 10, top 15 player, depending on who you ask. Unequivocally, not even for debate, top 20. And
Oh
as far
yeah,
as like a talent perspective, I mean, you could really argue there's not five more players more talented to ever pick up a basketball than Kevin Durant. Brother is 7 feet tall, handles like a guard, shoots like a can pull up from 50, 40, whatever, 3-level scorer, can be an elite defender when he wants to be, rim protector, like all of that.
yeah.
Like it's Kevin Durant. Like let's
A
let's
lot, a
be
lot,
clear.
yeah. A lot of people kind of forgot, and even like with a Kyrie, like even though like maybe the passing could be a little bit more like intuitive, but even like last season, people were trying to make it seem like Kyrie was kind of like not really like that type of player anymore, just because he had like a lot of things as far as like the fasting, he wasn't playing because of the
Yeah,
restrictions.
I do remember that someone did say that they didn't expect Kyrie. I heard someone say that they didn't expect Kyrie to come back and be an elite level scorer, and I couldn't believe it. I just didn't
It's
understand.
uh,
I was, I mean, Kyrie Irving's game is not predicated on athleticism per se. Like, yes, he's quick, but I mean, the skill level is god tier, like
yeah,
God. So
yeah.
I don't know.
And
It's
same with
it's
KD.
crazy
Like
for me to see.
if he's locked in, like if they're both locked in and like really like focused in on like even defense, even last season, the times where Kyrie was playing and the defense was really like he was plucking, in the lanes. Like if the team's
Oh,
locked in with the yeah
Kyrie's a capable defender. I've seen. I mean, I feel like we've all seen it, especially in the playoffs. I've seen him play good, credible defense on Steph Curry, good, credible defense on John Wall. I've seen it. I've seen him play good defense on James Harden. Not in the playoffs, but I've seen it. You know what I mean? So
yeah
I'm not really worried about like defense last year in the playoffs. It wasn't that big of an issue in my estimation. It was more so the offense and not being creative enough to get your players in one better positions and two just maximizing the talent that you have. Like it doesn't make sense that Kevin Durant was bringing the ball up the court. You got Kyrie Irving on the team.
yeah
Like yes, he may not be the most traditional playmaking point guard, but I mean he still is a point guard. He still has been a point guard for the majority of his career. You know what I mean? Like it yeah, that was crazy to me.
yeah. But it all remains to be seen. Like I said, as far as with their coaching and how they choose to arrange, as long as they're not as stagnant, I feel like should be a successful season for them.
Yeah, but I expect them to be a top seed in the East. Honestly, I might expect them to be like one or two. A lot of things that got to get proven this upcoming season. They may come back with a bunch of chips on their shoulders. It's a lot of disrespect going around
Yeah, and
on all three of the on all three of the best players on the team, Kevin, Kyrie, and Ben. A
yeah,
lot of disrespect.
like especially
So
Ben. I seen when they practice outside and like I guess like Kyrie, I think it was Kyrie and Katie were like walking past and like Ben kind of clinked
oh
up
no.
on a clinked up on his midi.
Oh, he didn't clank. He didn't clank nothing.
Oh, that was all air. Oh,
Yeah, no, it was all air. I mean, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yes, I have been known historically to have been very critical of Ben Simmons, but that only comes from a standpoint of how good I believe he could be. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's like, bro, you're like a B+ level player, but you could be like a A++ level player. If I feel like if I feel like he developed his game how I thought it was going to. But I mean, at the same point in time, I could be guilty of not appreciating him for what he does. And we're about to see what he does at the highest of levels because he's not going to have to shoot the ball. I mean, like he's good. He's like the I'll say this last point, and we can move on for the next from the next because I know we're kind of spending a lot of time on them.
Oh
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
if the offense, which I mean, Steve Nash should be able to. I feel like he not all great players make great coaches, but damn, I mean, he was great with the offense when he's playing. So I feel like he should be able to come up with a bunch of systems. There's so much potential. Like you could run Ben Simmons at times where you could put him almost in like a Giannis role and have five out, and he could be the playmaker, and he could be running sets with pick and rolls with like Kevin Durant, and you could have like you have Ben running the show with Kyrie, Kevin, Seth Curry, Joe Harris on the as the five out, and
Yeah.
then just let Ben cook from the drive and being aggressive and with his head down. Like it's so much potential, bro. It really is. There's so much that they could do. I hope Steve Nash is up for it because hey, if this is the year for sure. If you don't, if he has another showing like that, he will be gone.
Nah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of like the player that we kind of brought up a little bit earlier, James Harden. Let's get to the Sixers. And now that I think about looking at what they lost, it's pretty interesting about like what they were kind of going for as far as losing, like as far as trading away Danny Green.
Yeah, but he was coming off an injury, so I'm not. And he was a little older. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it,
Yeah.
especially for who they got back.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
D'Anthony
so
Melton. Yeah.
exactly. At 24 years old, I mean, I wasn't super high on him coming into the league, but you know, he definitely made a name for himself and improved himself on the Grizzlies, being able to, defend and play competent offense and be able to shoot. You know, and at 24 years old, hey, that's a great piece to have, man. Like it really is. Almost to the point where like I might be getting ahead of myself, of course, but like he may mess around and be a future piece for them, like going forward. I mean, James is
Yeah.
33. He's not going to be
Yeah.
playing forever. He might be, the future of that backcourt with Maxey potentially. But that's definitely very presumptuous and assumptuous of me. And
Yeah. I mean, it, it,
but
it is
I
a, it
like
is a
to pick up though.
possibility though, more or less, because especially the
Yeah,
way, like at least like with the energy that like he also brings as far as like you said defensive end, shooting ability, like him and Maxi
and
for years to come could be
and the
dangerous.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his age is just like it's a great pickup. Like it's a fantastic pickup to give up basically aging Danny Green and a late first round pick that wasn't going to be able to help you more than likely anyway.
Yeah.
This is a player that I mean we just saw him last year in the playoffs making plays. You know, just yeah, great pickup, great pickup.
Yeah, and well, aside from the Danny Green trade, realistically, I kind of do notice they did get a lot younger, more or less, because DeAndre
You
Jordan
think so?
didn't like Jordan didn't stay. I forgot when they had Millsap. Or I don't know
No,
how
they
long
didn't.
time ago this
Well,
was.
yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't resign Millsap. I mean, yeah, I would say overall, but don't forget they did add PJ. PJ pretty old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think because like I think out of all the acquisitions, yeah, the oldest probably is PJ, which
No, definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
which for most times with like the Sixers or at least like sometimes Daryl Morey let like kind of like ran teams as far as like in the front office. He does like his older players, and it's a telling sign of like the direction as far as they're still looking for the future. They're still looking forward to the future, but also trying to find those young guys that impact the team now, like a D'Anthony Melton or like a Trez really ain't that young. I think Trez is like 30, right, or close to 30.
Yeah, he's got to be. I think he might be 28. Let me see. Yeah, he's 28.
Yeah, so
So
like like
he's
borderline.
yeah, he's prime age. But I'm not really shocked at the Daryl Morey. I mean, not the Daryl Morey thing. Excuse me, the PJ Tucker acquisition, just because, like you said, I mean, Daryl Morey, he likes his players, and PJ Tucker is a Daryl Morey player, defense and threes.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I mean, at this point, it's been proven, that even before he won with the Bucks, like you could tell, like PJ Tucker is a championship level role player. He's gonna come in, he's gonna do everything as far as that you ask of him. He's gonna hustle, he's gonna play hard nosed, tough minded, and this is also important in my opinion because he's not just out there just being tough. Like he's gonna play hard nosed, but also like fundamentally sound and good defense. I mean, like he's not just out there trying to, tough, be tough on people. Like we've seen him play great defense on James, on Kevin Durant, other players, other great players as well. So, and then we know he's one of the better corner three marksmen in the league. So I mean, he still can provide you a little bit of offense as well. Now, with him being 37, I don't know at how much we're going to continue to get. I mean, he had his good moments last year, but I think he also had some down moments last year too with the shooting. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's for sure still a good player to have in the locker room. And I mean, you need, like you said, you need your vets on championship level teams, and you need vets that have done it. And I mean, if you're gonna move Danny Green out, a championship level vet, it's good to bring another one in, and PJ Tucker. So
Yeah, because at least from like the bits and pieces that I've seen, the championship DNA, like I said, like it always has to be included in at least one of your players, and then even just how the team plays, like the way their spacing is, as far as like Maxi in the off season, he was working on his jumper. Overall game is looking really really well. Even some of the guys that like probably are always going to be like those rotational pieces like Cork Maz and like it was another name that I'm probably drawing a blank on, but like
I also want to bring up that they did sign Daniel House as well. He will more than likely be in the rotation, I'm thinking.
yeah, another Maury guy actually, because
Yeah,
yeah,
likely. Yep, another 3-and-D type of guy. Good athleticism though as well. I think he's got good size as well. I think I don't want to speculate, so I'm gonna check, but I want to say he's got good size. Yeah, 6'7" is what he's listed as, so that's definitely good size. Being that 3-and-D level player,
yeah,
so yeah, definitely a good pickup as well. 29, so I mean, he's not like old, but like he's on their timeline, so it matches as well.
yeah, and I mean, I guess not instinctively, but like the way that the rotation or at least the lineup constructions are somewhat being outlined, like the paint for Embiid seems like they're giving him that whole block to operate, which is kind of
Yeah,
a it's a
I
good
mean,
yeah, it's a good strategy for how he played
yeah, I
last
mean,
year.
they have nobody else to occupy the paint really, except for Tobias. But I mean, Tobias doesn't need to be in that in the paint, but like he has the ability to post up and give you that second level scoring. I think he's probably probably the most frequent level or the most frequent second level scorer on that team. I know Maxi can do it. I don't think he does as much though. And I mean, we've seen James do it like way, way, way back in the past, but like he doesn't do that anymore either. So,
Yeah,
but I mean, shit, at this point, the Philadelphia Rockets.
I was just thinking that low key, like, because just watching them play, it's like the spacing on the court. I was like, God, like every 3 seconds or every possession, more or less, it ended behind that arc. And in the times where it is down there, it's like, which is kind of a little bit different from like those old Houston teams. It's like Embiid is throwing bows, like he's drop stepping, getting to the 10. So the pick your poison aspect that they're gonna have the whole year, as far as if you're gonna guard Embiid, then all right, bet we got like four guys on the outside. Or if you wanna press up on the outside to try to cut down on the threes, all right, boom, we drop it to the block and B goes to the line. So if they all stay, if it all stays solid, like health and everything, which is probably gonna be a reoccurring thing as the preparation goes on. But kind of like with the Nets, like that's a team that you can actually kind of see as like the lowest I'd probably see is two, more or less, for them.
I mean, perhaps, but in my opinion, for any of this to happen, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
The elephant in the room is what type of James Harden are we going to get?
True, true.
I mean, that's the question. I mean, because
Because he said he lost
we
weight.
saw last year. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely lost. I don't think he lost 100 pounds, but
Yeah,
he's
it was like
definitely lost
40,
weight.
20, something like that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, James Harden, every like 3 4 years, he spends one off season like really getting after it, and coming
Yeah.
coming in shape. Like that was what he did. Was it 2017 and 2018? So the year he won MVP. Yeah, the year he won MVP with Chris Paul, he was like in crazy shape. And that was the year that they took the Warriors to 7 and all this and that. So I mean, I think him playing these last 2 years and kind of feeling the limitations athletically and burst wise, I feel like he felt that, and I think it kind of affected him, and he probably didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I think he really took this offseason to really focus on himself, see if he can kind of get back to where he was. Because people don't think of James Harden as like a superior athlete per se, but like his game was predicated on burst. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, just that lateral
his
quickness
like
off the dribble.
yeah, that lateral quickness, like his entire, no, I don't want to say entire, but like a lot of his game was sizing you up from that 3 point line and just being able to just completely blow past you with that burst and getting to the free throw line, and if he or just kill you with threes. But we saw like last year he wasn't really able to get by people and blow by people as much. So those paint possessions and free throws that kind of that went down. And if he wasn't making those crazy step back threes, which I mean, don't get me wrong, he definitely had his games where he was definitely smacking them because I mean
Still
it's
a
still
threat
James
for him.
Harden.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like it just he didn't have that elite burst, and it showed in the playoffs for sure. I mean, he had some good moments, but it's just like it wasn't what we knew, what it was. Because I mean, that's what they're going to need if they want to win a championship. In my opinion, I feel like we all know it. I think Doc has said it to him. Um, I don't know. I don't feel that Tyrese Maxey can be the second best player on this team for them to win a championship. At least not right now. I think this current iteration, it has to be James. James is going to have to be the best player on some nights, just point blank. Period. I
Yeah.
think that's the route. He has to be what he came in there to be. I mean, it's just that simple to me.
Yeah, most definitely. And like you said, like Maxi, even though I have what most people have seen, like he has taken like that massive leap. It really isn't like the time where you can say like, okay, if Harden just isn't there like all a year, then it's like okay, Maxi is enough to kind of like secure that top three ranking in the Eastern Conference because you're gonna need at least Embiid, Harden, and like that additional piece, whether it be like a Harris or a Maxi, probably will be Maxi to
Oh yeah, it's Maxi.
yeah
Yeah,
to really give you that like edge over the competition. So
yeah.
it's gonna have to be a real lock in season for Harden.
And just to touch on the Maxi and Harris thing, I think that I would say that right now Maxi's better than Tobias. But even if he wasn't, just the way the team is set up, the personnel, like Tobias is not really in a position where he can thrive anyway. So
Yeah,
he's always like in this iteration, he was always going to be like the fourth option because he's not going to get a lot of those mid paint possessions where he can kind of post up and cook from the second level because that's where he is. That's where he cooks at. That's taken away from Embiid space, and then you're not going to have the ball a lot anyway because James and Maxi. So it's like he's really relegated to catch and shoot and maybe a couple of ISO possessions or
yeah,
decent sets for him a game, maybe. But yeah,
yeah, most definitely. Let's see. All right, Boston Celtics. Now, as far as what they lost, I mean, I think only one of these
yeah,
guys played, right?
I don't think none. I mean, they gave Daniel Tice a couple of tick, but I mean that was only because I want to say Robert Williams got hurt, and I remember as soon as he came in, they started going after him immediately.
they got cooked whenever he touched
And
them.
he got cooked. Yes, immediately got cooked. And I'm just like, bro. So yeah, it was Tice, Naismith. What's that shooter's name?
Somebody Stauskas or Matt Ryan?
Yeah, Nick Stauskas. And there was another player, but I mean, not, like you said, none of them really played significant minutes. So I mean, they they initially got Malcolm Brogdon for no significant player, which is, I mean, it was a steal,
Yeah, they
honestly.
got Malcolm for a bag of dirt, honestly, in the grand scheme
Yeah,
of things. So
no facts. And I mean, and of course, I mean, some of those players are young, so I mean, especially like Naismith, and Naismith may end up going, and proving that he was a capable piece in that trade. But I mean, in their current roles, yeah, a
yeah,
steal. Bag of Lay's chips.
yeah. Then as far as like who they added to their team, I mean, like you said, Malcolm Brogdon, who,
Gallo.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gallo too. Even though like it was unfortunate that he got the injury though, because he would have
Yeah.
definitely been important for this
Is he?
iteration.
Is it for the year?
Um, I'm not sure if it's like for the year. I might have to check. Yeah, I might check that now. Cause I know it was like an ACL injury that he had, so that might be a year or might be for the season.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, you're right. Yep.
Yeah,
he tore his ACL, so he's done. So never mind. We won't count Gallo. But even still,
they got
I mean,
Blake.
this team they retained. I mean, they retained every major player uh, for their finals run. I mean, all the starters are still there, even the main bench guys: Grant Williams, Derek White, and like we said, Pritchard as well. And
Yeah,
like we said, they added Malcolm Brogdon, who it's been reported that he's going to be coming off the bench. So I mean, that bench unit is going to be crazy.
like as far as like another general, because they really just needed like how they got pretty much kind of like hammered the nail on the head as far as like with certain people that I know that are Celtics fans. The team is perfectly fine. They just don't have. They didn't have a guy that you could literally just like give the ball to and he runs the floor
Exactly.
like a pure look at the floor. You stand here, screen here type of thing. And like even though he is coming off the bench, like Brogdon gives them that, and he's done it for
Yeah,
multiple teams.
he's a point guard for sure.
Yeah,
And just to your point, like people weren't really understanding that. Like people kept bringing up, Jason Tatum was doing a good job facilitating and or Marcus Smart, but it's just like, Jason Tatum. This is not an insult to him in any way, but Jason Tatum is a scorer. He is not a facilitator. So like when you're watching the game, like Jason Tatum is making the right basketball play. So like he'll get like he gets doubled.
yeah,
He'll pass to the open man, or like he'll run a pick or roll, and he might pass it to like a decently open roller, or like a picker, or like a popper. Excuse me.
mm-hmm.
But he's not like running. Like, this isn't LeBron James running a pick and roll and understanding like if this guy shades over to this left, that this person's going to be open and he's throwing an anticipating level pass. Like there are levels. This isn't Luka doing the same thing. This is not that. Like he's not a facilitator. He's not that type of playmaker. So like, uh,
Yeah,
there's this concept that like elite level scorers are always the best playmakers, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But they're not always mutually exclusive, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
like
Like
Jason is an
they're not
elite level
always tied
scorer.
together.
Yeah, like he's an elite level scorer, but he's not an elite level playmaker. It's just how it is, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
like, we can say differently for like LeBron and Doncic, but it's just like,
yeah,
I mean, we saw it when in the finals, he had the most turnovers in finals history. He's able to do it in spurts for sure. But like, I kind of looked at like at the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown situation. If you remember a couple years ago when the Nuggets, well, not when the Nuggets, when the Clippers blew their lead to the Nuggets,
mm-hmm.
and how they had like Kawhi and Paul George basically like running the offense, and everybody was like, they just need a point guard. They just need a point guard. This really reminds me of that situation.
And no one
Like,
never really debated that either. It was like
yeah,
because people already knew when it came to like Kawhi and PG. It's like obviously Kawhi is not a
hmm
PG. Paul George, like they can pass, but they're not guys that you want to run your offense.
exactly. I think it really comes from the fact that like the Celtics are just younger, so we just think we just think that they
Yeah,
are going to be able to. evolve their game. Like Kawhi and Paul were definitely like what 27, 28 when they got to the Clippers, so
Yeah,
they were very much established. We knew what
peak
their game
years.
was. I feel like with the Celtics, we just think, they've been 22, 23, 24, 25 at this point. We just been thinking that they can evolve their games, but it's just like, I mean, you can get better as a passer, but like being an elite level passer, you see that from the start. It's not really something that you really
Yeah,
can teach, honestly. I mean, I don't know.
because like
I,
yeah,
I think
most guys have it if they like. Most guys either have it or they don't. And then looking at how they play, more or less, obviously, like I like you'd want the ball in their hands, but
of
even like
course.
even in a situation of like the way that they dribble, like they even the way they dribble backwards or like in like lateral motions to where more or less like the slightest bit of space really isn't going to be for a pass. It's going to be for that jump shot. So for people to be there and watch how like Jalen, especially Jalen Brown is like kind of like a perfect example. He literally dribbles
He's
and
like,
snatches. Like it's no looking up.
nah, I think somebody said they said Jalen Brown got 88 ball handle and a 55 ball security because he will break somebody off one play and the very next play he will dribble it out of bounds or
Bruh.
off somebody's foot.
Like
It's like,
handle
bro,
be loose, make a dude fall, and then it bounces
man.
off his foot the next possession. It's like how did the handle just decrease from 15 seconds?
And it's funny because like we're talking about, the perceptions that we've heard from certain people and fans and things of that nature, but clearly the organization feels, exactly the way that we're describing because, like we said, they traded for Malcolm Brogdon and they also drafted J.D. Davidson, an elite level playmaker out of Alabama.
Yeah,
During the summer league, he averaged, I want to say, 8+ assists, which was top three as far as like assist production in the summer league period. So you can tell that the organizations are making moves to also kind of get somebody that they feel can, just create easier opportunities for Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, and even more so, just like you you want to be able to get your best scores easy buckets.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's something that you want to. So like we said, like yeah, we want the ball to be in Jason's hands, but if Brogdon or even if Davidson ends up starting to get PT and creating easier opportunities for Jason, it's just better for the team as a whole. You know what I mean? Like to get him easy looks, easy bucks, run him a couple sets, run him off of like a little hatch screen or whatever. Run them some of them actions
yeah.
or
Because
shit. Run them the action that KD ran in OKC for 8 years. Run off that little that mid elbow screen where he's just wide open.
catch him at the arc,
Yeah, so it's just like it's all about. I feel like it's all about trying to make life easier for those wing scorers, so they can focus on what they do best. Putting the ball in the hole and playing defense. I think those are those two guys' strengths, in different ways as well. But
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah,
great pieces.
just to summarize this last part before we move to the next team, just I need fans of Boston to really kind of like whenever things are said about your team, y'all gotta stop thinking about it in like these like negative lights. Like I said, as far as like people think youth equals like the time to develop a passing vision or just playmaking in general. If y'all needed help at a position, like they admitted it with centers for like a gazillion years, as far as like they didn't have any bigs. Then they had bigs, and then they just like, okay, we're fine. We don't need playmakers. It's like you gotta accept when you still need certain positions because that's the only way you're probably gonna get better if the forwards are dribbling the ball 25-8, I mean, there's not really much gonna come out of that. So just that last
Exactly.
thing, but because man, that is hilarious. But all right,
What do
so
you well real quick though, what are your expectations for the Celtics going into this year?
um, okay, last season they ended top 5 or top 3.
I think they were the 2 seed.
Yeah. Hmm. I don't know if I can see them that high. Like, I mean, I see them still top 5 because I feel like other teams did get better, but Yeah, I don't think I see them below five. Like probably 5-4 range, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't I don't really see them being that high either. I mean, we really didn't even. Well, I mean, this is not really probably the place to go in depth and discuss this because we just want to keep it sports related. But I
Yeah.
mean, definitely didn't kind of address the impact of the head coaching situation that might have on this team going forward.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. As far
Yeah.
as
So, I mean,
yeah. At some point we'll probably get into that, but
yeah, and it's just like he was he was basically he was cited as a big reason as why this team took its next step. So for to not have him that very next year after they lost in the finals, which I would say is heartbreaking. I mean, you get to the finals and lose, it's heartbreaking. So I mean, because you're there.
yeah.
So to lose and not have basically the head of your team for the next year, I mean, we don't know what that's going to do. I mean, so I mean
Yeah.
that's definitely something to pay attention to as well, especially because like they weren't playing that great. And then like after Christmas, it was either like after Christmas or after the All-Star break where they went on that crazy, crazy, crazy run where they lost like 2 games in like the last like 30 or something.
Man, defensive
You know
juggernauts
what I
for
mean?
the rest of the season.
Yeah, so it's just like it's not like they were consistent all the way through. So they're definitely I think they're a candidate to take a step back, kind of being in that 5 range. But yeah, definitely I want to keep my eyes on them and see how they make their adjustments for the situations that they're in right now. So
Yeah, most definitely to keep an eye on that. Um, so Toronto Raptors, who interestingly enough, I kind of enjoyed watching. Like, I feel like I've always enjoyed the Raptors, but this I've seen some good things so far with them.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they really did too much with their offseason in general. I mean, as far as like their draft, they drafted Christian Colocchio, 7 footer, 7'5" wingspan. Could turn into a decent player. But I mean, the pick didn't move me per se. Uh, and then I mean, as far as their free agents, they just kind of re-signed their guys. So I mean, they re-signed Chris Boucher and then re-signed Thad Young. Those are the notable ones for me personally. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this team just kind of they're a playing team again, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even like in the weirdest way possible, like maybe I'm like kind of because kind of I did it last time, like talking about the Raptors. I might be gassing it, but it's like I mean Ron Harper.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like like them bring. I feel like them getting Ron Harper, even though like it's not like a splash, as an undrafted rookie. Once again, kind of like that Delano Banton mold, where probably might not get minutes this season, but I feel like that it's a good player to have, good glue guy. Josh Jackson, who defensively probably fits their team a lot more than I thought. Um, got Otto Porter, got a vet, came off the chip.
Oh
Not
yeah, you're right. You're
yeah,
Otto Porter was that was a good pickup. Yeah.
yeah. So now he got a little bit more, got a little bit more vocal voice in the locker room. But yeah, definitely playing is like the bottom like set for them will be playing again. But
Yeah, I say like 6 to 10 or 6 to 9 range. I mean, they've got good players. They got Fred, they got Pascal, they got Scotty, but it's just like at least for Fred and at least I mean we know what Fred and Pascal are gonna be and what they're gonna give.
yeah,
It really like I mean even if Scotty ends up being a superstar in this league, which very well may happen, I don't think it's on this current iteration team's timeline. So it's just like they're gonna be. I mean, they're always gonna. Right now, like this iteration of the Raptors with Ujiri and Nurse and how they run things, like they're always gonna be like competitive because they play basketball the right way. They develop their young guys,
yeah,
and so I mean they're always gonna be competitive. But it's just like with their talent, is it gonna be is the talent going to develop to actually be like a contender? Now that remains to be seen with Scotty, but well, I
Yeah,
mean, we'll see. I'm glad they didn't trade him for Kevin Durant.
yeah, because that really not a thing, but that is really it was really a wild time for that. Everybody was
I
worried
mean, I
about
can't be
that.
mad at the Nets. You know, I mean, like, yeah, listen, we're trading Kevin. We want your blue chip. You know, hey, we want Scotty. Hey, we want Devin. We want your blue chip.
Nah.
Don't call us about Kevin Durant if you're not going to give us either a potential superstar or a superstar already. I'm not mad at it because I mean, yeah, not mad.
Yeah, definitely what you would possibly see. So, but yeah, Raptors definitely, once again, like I feel like they're one of those few teams where like every single season you can kind of pin them out, but at least at some point, like they're gonna end up like in that
In
playing
it, yeah.
conversation. Yeah, so,
I mean, what do you think? What's the ceiling for Scotty? I know you were always high on him, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I
Even
mean,
like even before the season started last year, you were kind of talking about him.
yeah, I mean, because like kind of like how you hinted at with like how JD Davis did when he was in the summer league this past season. The year that Scotty, I think I think that was the first time they brought the summer league back because of COVID. But the offensive uptick that he had as far as his post play, which is I think he's starting to get into like that post fade a little bit more. Cause I've seen it in the preseason as well. Like that's probably something he's gonna want to work on. Um, Defensively, I feel like he's always been in a position to be like eventually he'd be like probably in that All Star range because of his defense. But if he keeps progressing with the offensive like acumen, when seeing a guy like Siakam who's somewhat around the same size as him, kind of like the penetration ability, the strength, add a little bit more of the 3 point touch, even though they're both kind of like they're not like crazy 3 point shooters, but they can knock down a shot. Um, I can see Scotty taking probably a bigger leap 2 seasons from now rather than like this year though.
Yeah, but what is his ceiling?
Ceiling, like a
Yeah,
player
that's what I.
ceiling.
Yeah, how do you like best case scenario? What can he be?
Um,
I mean, can he be a Kawhi Leonard?
Cause like I mean I know that's what some people compared him to, and like even with Kawhi, it's like you probably might not have seen it in his future either. But I mean, hmm, that thing is like Kawhi is like or maybe like a Paul George, where it's like,
I can't go that far. I don't see that comp. I I try to pick somebody that like I kind of see the comp. So I feel like he's kind of like a mix. He's kind of a little mix between like a almost like a Kawhi and like a Giannis. I mean, because I feel like he's bigger, but
yeah, he is lanky, yeah,
he's solid though. Like broad shoulders, everything. So like,
yeah. If he gets bigger, I could see the Giannis comp or the Giannis ceiling if he continues to bulk up and
well, I'm not
start.
gonna say like Giannis ceiling. No,
Yeah.
hey, I can't. Hey, listen. Yeah, no, can't say that. But like, just how I'm just trying to find comps for him. But yeah, I can't. No.
Like a one of one.
Giannis is on top 10 trajectory. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He keep winning. He gonna be in there. I mean, he already
He's
he
probably
has a
knocking
top
on the
20
door
case
right
already.
now, honestly.
Exactly. So no, I can't go that far as far as like that. But I just want to know like what you thought.
Yeah,
Is
me
he
too.
something? Is he someone that they can build a championship team around?
Yeah, because
And I mean,
more or less I see him as like an all star more or less. Because I have real high expectations for that class as a whole. And as far as where his pick was, I feel like they definitely did get an all star, like a definite first team All NBA player at some point in his career.
I mean,
But
yeah.
whether he, I feel like when it comes to a team, he'd probably have to be like probably their second best player. I feel like just like they'll find
I
something
think the
more.
Raptors feel. I think the Raptors feel that he can be that. I mean, because They kept him. They didn't trade him for Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant with Fred VanVleet and Pascal and OG Anunoby and Nick Nurse with Ujiri as the GM sounds like a championship level squad to me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So they clearly feel like he has the potential to be something of that caliber.
yeah,
I'm excited to
yeah,
see it though.
yeah. It should be interesting to see because I feel like yeah, as far as their pieces are concerned, if he is their number one, then I mean he is. But I feel like more or less, a couple seasons from now, if he ends up being like their second best player on their team, I feel like that perfectly kind of fits where I feel like he'll be in a few years.
Yeah.
Uh, hmm. Well, speaking of teams in the play-in or play-in like teams, the New York Knicks. Now, their off season was interesting for sure, just because of all the stuff they wanted to accomplish, and then what they ended up doing. But looking at like what their additions were,
You want to start with the free agency first?
yeah, like as far as what they lost and stuff.
Yeah, I mean we could do that.
Yeah, well, this mainly pertaining to me because like they did they unloaded three of their veterans to the Pistons, in a draft night swap with Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, Kimball Walker. At
Yeah,
least at least two of the three, not two of the three, one of the three probably didn't perform how they wanted, so he was on the way out regardless.
yeah.
And
You talking about
then
Kimba, right?
yeah, mainly
Got
Kimball.
it. Yeah. I mean, Alec is definitely still a quality level player in this league. It's just he's just getting bounced around, unfortunately. But I mean, same thing for Nerlens. I think Nerlens is still a quality level player in this league too. I mean, even Kimba, Kimba is still quality. He just has the curse of his own name following him around. You know, what I mean, he's no
Yeah,
longer that player consistently because he's got like knee issues and shit like that. But I mean, they're all three capable. But to get off that contract, I think it was a success for the Knicks.
yeah, and then depending on where he goes next, whether it's like a rejuvenation period for Kemba, because I mean, I don't know, like as much as I ride on Kemba as far as like, him having bad knees and stuff like that, I mean, he knows that already. But he'll probably still be he'll be good for somebody depending on the situation that he gets like signed into. Like
Shit,
maybe they don't
I
offer him
don't
no
know,
money.
man. I don't know, man. This league lately has not been very tolerable to small guards.
Yeah, people still been fighting for IT to get another job.
Exactly, and IT. I mean, shit. To me, IT is probably better than Kemba Walker right now.
Got a deeper bag for sure right now.
Yeah, I mean, one had a hip, one has knees, but I would say IT is probably better than Kemba right now, and he can't get on the squad. They're both complete and utter washes on defense, so it doesn't really. That's
Yeah,
like yeah, I don't know where Kemba's gonna go now. To be honest, I have no idea.
yeah. So who knows? He might be in Europe by the time February rolls around potentially.
He might or he might just be playing in pro-ams and stuff like I was like IT was. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah,
I think he can still be a definitely a good level player off the bench though. A bench though for sure.
yeah. Probably
But
most definitely. But as far as like who they sign, I mean obviously the big one being Jalen Brunson from the Mavericks, gave him a
yes,
nice bag.
yes, sir.
Maybe kind of like an underrated one because I didn't really notice this until like I think I seen like a King of the Fourth Quarter video and like it was like a mad statistical chart, and Isaiah Hartenstein at the rim apparently last season was like top five as far as like
Yeah, he
people
was
who
a,
scored on him.
good player.
Yeah,
Yeah, he played some really good minutes for the Clippers. So yeah, it's funny because I knew that's who you were going with when you said that because yeah, he's definitely an underrated signing.
yeah,
I think he's going to play for them as he should. But yeah, the Jalen Brunson deal. I mean, they they going the Knicks gonna throw money at somebody. You know what I mean?
somebody gonna get
So
that bag for sure.
yeah, somebody is like hey, somebody getting this. We don't know who, but somebody getting this bag. I mean, yeah, a young point guard definitely showed up and showed out for the Mavericks last year. I mean, I know we talk about the team, uh, Luka not having helping, blah 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 blah. I think that's just like something popular to say, but like I mean,
Yeah,
if you look at it, Jalen was dropping 30 and 40 balls consistently.
coming
Well,
out the post
maybe not.
too.
Yeah, so it's like he may not have had the quote unquote name at the time, but it's a very real possibility that we'll look back on this a couple years from now and be like, yeah, Luca did play with Jalen Brunson early in his career. I don't know why they let him go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like
He could be the
it could
Dinwiddie of
it
that
could
Mavericks team as far as when you had him and he had his little uptick, it might not have been like as blatant. But then once he exploded, it's like, well, yep, no, he's just gone.
yeah, I mean, exactly. So it's just he could very well be an MVP or no, excuse me.
I was at Brunson for the MVP.
All star. All star. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All star conversation next year, potentially if the Knicks are winning. Yeah,
Yeah.
that had to correct me. That sounded crazy.
That's gonna get wild. They had to clip me.
Man. But yeah, he averaged like shit. I want to say around 20 points a game in the playoffs last year combined. So I mean, yeah, he was solid, man. He was solid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did have like 21. Yeah, he was, yeah, boy was hooping. And then they did get Trevor Keels, drafted second round,
Yep,
pick
from Duke.
12. Yeah.
Yep, from Duke. Not a bad pick. I'm not mad at that one either.
It is a very crowded PG
I don't know.
pool for them though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if he's gonna like see a bunch of time, but I mean, it's definitely a good player to have and see where he develops and where he goes as far as like the caliber of player he's gonna be.
Yeah.
Um, you want to touch on the re-signs? I think those are pretty notable.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They got their two main guys back, including being RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. I know they wanted to trade Mitchell at some point, where they talked about
Yeah,
trading him.
yeah, I had heard that, but I think it's good that they decided to pay their guy. I mean, he's been their guy, so that's one of theirs.
Yeah, and I mean that's probably like the main two, honestly. I mean Jericho Sims, I like Jericho Sims. I feel like he has potential. He doesn't play enough, but as far as like, because last year they were playing team where they like actually made the playoffs. So I'm not really sure.
Nah, I don't think they were a playing team. They were like right outside. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. Let
Yeah,
me see, because the playing teams last year were Cleveland, the Hornets, the Nets. I think that was it. Yeah, the Knicks were 37 and 45, and the Hornets were 43 and 39. So yeah, they were in that 11th spot.
yeah. Hmm. So it's like
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna just pose this question as far as based off of like what they have done in the off season, does this propel them? Does it propel them back into like a playing conversation, or is it just like still one of them years where you kind of don't see them doing much?
um, I mean both. I think that I think that they did enough to be warranted in the conversation for being a playing team, but I mean, with that being said, I don't think they're going to do anything. But I mean, it's all. I mean, they committed. They said, listen, RJ Barrett, third overall pick. We're gonna pay you, and we're gonna see where it goes. You are our guy. They haven't had their guy like that in a while. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I mean, they decide to pay him and see where it goes. Best case scenario, they could get up high like a 7, 6 seed or whatever. I mean, they got guys. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, will it work and will it fit? Especially with Tom Thibodeau as the coach. I'm not really sold on him offensively, but I mean, Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Derrick Rose, Mitchell Robinson. They have guys,
Yeah,
and they were a 5 or 4 seed literally just 2 years ago, with Julius Randle playing like an All NBA player. So I mean, they have people. It's just, will it come together, and will it maximize? Because that's what it's going to need to do for them to be a legit playoff team. They have more scoring than they did 2 years ago, but it's just like they're not going to surprise anybody either.
yeah, because kind of like the Hawks, where it's like the year that the year that they exploded, it was like, yo, like these teams came out of nowhere. Like maybe their rebuild worked out, and it might have peaked a little bit
Exactly.
earlier than they thought. But then people started,
They
Julius
didn't
Randle
make
started
it.
chucking. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't. I mean, neither team really made the correct moves after the fact. So like the Knicks
Yeah,
stayed put, even though the Knicks stayed put, even though we saw in the playoffs, like, okay, we can't really ask Julius to be this Carmelo Anthony type player in his going forward in his career. Like they were literally treating him like he was Melo. Like, get on the block, we're gonna throw you the ball
yeah.
and lead us.
Let him
And it's just
jab.
like, yeah, and it's just like, bro, like we're just gonna double him or like swarm him, and like who do you have anybody else on this team that can beat us? And RJ wasn't gonna do. RJ was struggled mightily. That's what we saw Derrick Rose step up. So
Yeah,
it's just like they just stayed pat after that year, basically, and expected things to change, and they didn't. And then the same thing with the Hawks. It's just like you get to the conference finals, and for some reason you start moving people, like you move Cam and doing all this bunch of stuff, and you pay John Collins. I didn't really get some of their moves, because this is like
yeah,
you did all the I don't know, you did all this. I thought they moved Cam because they wanted to keep Herter, but they let Herter walk too. So now they don't have either. It's really weird to me. But they rectified that by getting Murray. But I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. Especially with
I
getting
think I
Steph
think
too.
both.
So
My bad. I
yeah,
just think that both teams made good moves, but they probably should have been moves that they tried to have made the year prior.
yeah.
There's that.
'Cause
Yeah.
the door probably closed harder on the Knicks. I feel than the Hawks, more or less.
Oh,
Because
for sure. Yeah, no,
yeah,
for sure.
just based off of
Because
construction.
one, we're just based on like who their best player is. So like, who was the best player on the Knicks?
Oh, that year, yeah, Julius Randle probably.
No, I'm saying like right now. Like, who's the best player on the Knicks?
Oh, now,
I don't.
yeah, now
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
Brunson, maybe Barrett.
probably Brun.
Yeah,
Probably Brun. Yeah, I mean, if there's three logical answers that I will listen to. If somebody wants to say Brunson, okay. If you want to say RJ, okay. If you want to say Randall, okay. You know, I mean, they all have a case. With Jalen Brunson probably having the more recency uh, on his side for that case, but when we go to the Hawks, it's just like, okay, who's the best player? It's Trae Young. Like,
yeah,
who's basically knocking on the top 10, like, players in the league? Okay, it's Trae Young. Who led the league in points and assists? It's Trae Young. You know what I mean? Like, who's
yeah,
top 5 at their position? It's Trae Young. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna always go with the team that has the best players having the better outlook as far as if they're in the same position. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
most definitely with that. So I guess from here we can go to a Western division. So like Northwest. I don't even know what team to start with for these.
Let's start with the Thunder.
OKC, yep. Now, very much a rebuilding team, a smart rebuilding team. I might add, just based off the amount of pieces they still have.
Is smart is an interesting term, I would say.
I feel like I
I
like
don't
what
know.
they did for the most part this past off season
It's
too.
just Yeah, but it's just like, my thing is, it's still early in this quote unquote rebuild, but and with Chet being hurt, it might change. It might have changed how things were going to be, but it's just like, what's the goal here? Like, what is the goal? Like, you have Lou Dort, and you have SGA, and you have Chet. are we still are we still tanking? Are we gonna build around SGA, or are we just gonna waste his years? Like, what is our goal here? Like,
Yeah, I feel like.
because,
Hmm.
or because I mean, this whole Chet Holmgren and Victor is not gonna work. I know
I
that's
don't think they're
really
going to be
far
that
off.
bad in the first place.
Yeah,
Truthfully, I don't
yeah.
think they're going to be that bad.
I mean, shit, we could say that, but I mean, shit, they were that bad last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got Chet, second overall pick.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah. Like, even like when I was seeing it, it's like, I don't think, like, even with, like, the guys that, like, some of, like, I feel like the way their rookies are, like, the ones that are playing, like, Chang has, like, his jump shot was better than I thought.
Dang, and both Williamses. I mean, they're all gonna and
Yeah,
they're all gonna play for
yeah,
this
like all
Thunder.
three of them are balling. So it's like I don't see them being bad enough to where it's like, all right, lottery pick. You can definitely see them being top three. I don't see that in their situation, just because of those
Shit,
three.
tell me what you see there, because I'm looking at the Western Conference, and I'm like, dog. Uh,
They're definitely
it's
yeah,
gonna be them, the Spurs, and the Rockets on the bottom. Well, and the Jazz
yeah,
at the
yeah,
bottom.
yeah. But it's like the thing is like when I look at both of, like, I look at the Thunder and like the Jazz, it's like for some reason I feel like they're one of those teams that like even though like on paper their roster looks buns, they're gonna win a decent amount of games to where it's like okay, then they start making like it makes enough noise where it's like all right, dang, are they sneaking into the plan? Like it's
We're
not
talking
gonna
about the Jazz or the Thunder.
the Thunder mainly like
Oh shit,
yeah
I can't I can't get with you on that one. I can't. They won 24 games last year. I can't. I cannot get with you on that one.
yeah or I
Yeah,
mean
no, they're
or
not.
at least maybe it's gonna be a team where it's like they get a couple they're gonna get a couple sneak wins over some top dogs. Probably not gonna mean anything obviously in the grand scheme of things, but
Yeah, man. That's tough, man. I don't know about that one.
yeah. I mean, obviously, like
I still see.
I would have my Thunder hat on like tighter if like Chet didn't get injured. But at this point,
Yeah,
like being content with what it is. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes because I don't think they're gonna be like. Ooh, obviously, I don't think they're gonna be that trash, but they might be that trash. But
they very well might be that trash, bro. It's really like
yeah,
to me. I don't know. There's more tanking teams in the West than the East, in my opinion.
oh no, definitely it's
Um,
like four teams, maybe even
and
five probably in the West.
I mean, you got Thunder, Spurs, Jazz. I don't think the Rockets are tanking anymore.
I mean, they're gonna fight, but
I
I feel
think
like they're gonna be bad. Just
I mean,
they're gonna be a
they're gonna be.
fighting team bad.
I mean, I feel like they want to see where their talent is. So like they want to see that if this core can work between Green, uh, Porter, and Smith.
Yeah,
I mean that like if they all turn out to what they supposed to be, that's a core. You know what I mean? Like that's what that is. So I mean, I don't know. I do.
yeah,
Thunder gonna be bad though. I think. I just
yeah.
there's too much like there's. They're all like, bro. They're all like SGA is damn near the oldest person on the team. I mean, well, technically,
He's like
Mike
only
Muscala,
25, right?
24, 25. Like, technically,
Yeah,
Mike Muscala is the oldest, but he ain't gonna play. You know what I
yeah. He
mean?
definitely have for
Like,
moral support. Maybe David
yeah,
Nwaba. Like they got him. I think he's like
like
34.
he not take like they not taking no PT away from these young guys. The Thunder are gonna play their young guys. It's just gonna be a
Yeah,
bunch of 20-year-olds playing basketball. They gonna get clapped. Like, man.
yeah. I mean,
Ah,
yeah. It's basically the
SGA
thing is
deserves
like, yeah, he's gonna
SGA
struggle
deserves
again.
better.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing
The
is, I
question
feel like
Craig.
yeah, if Chet when Chet gets back, I feel like then people can actually start like evaluating this team. Like,
It's another year though.
yeah, it's another year.
So another
Yeah,
year basically in what might be Shay's. Well, he's only okay. He's still only 24. So he turned 24 in the summer, so he'll be 24 for the whole season. So okay, he's younger than I thought. I thought he was 25, 26.
yeah.
So yeah, he's younger. But even still, just wasting another year. Just get out of there, man. Go to request a trade and go to the Mavericks or something. Like SGA could go to so many places. Like he's a slasher. He can play off the ball. You know what I mean? Like he can play in a bunch of places, man. The Blazers could use him. The Mavericks could use him. Shit, the Grizzlies could use him. Man, who else? Man? Shit, the Lakers could use him, although we can't get him.
It'd be hard for
You
them to get
know,
that one.
I mean, facts.
Shoot, the
A
Hawks could
bunch of
use him with
teams,
them
man.
and Dejounte. I mean, it's
The man, shit. The Hornets could use him. They don't seem like they're too sold on Terry.
yeah.
Shit.
But
Shit. The Wizards. Oh man, yeah.
Who's train? Yeah.
No. We're not trading. No, hold on. You know better than that. You know better than that. We're not trading Kuz now. Come on, relax. We're not trading the Kuz train unless somehow it's like a 3-level trade and he brings them back to the Lakers. But
if it swings them back to the bank.
To the Lakers, back to the Lakers.
Yeah.
We're not, but no, we ain't trading Kuz. Not after he had what's the word? Resurgence season. Yeah, no. He damn near had all-star level season. We ain't trading. We ain't trading Kuz. Come on, PTP. Come on now.
Hey, who knows? I mean,
that boy averaged 17-8. Oh, 17-8-3. Nah, we not trading. No, we ain't trading. Kuz fucking around average 20 points. Kuz fucking around average 20 points this year. Talk to him nicely. The Kuz train coming to a arena near you. If you guys couldn't tell, I am a huge Kyle Kuzma enthusiast / supporter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm gonna keep my Rui Hachimura jersey on the low way though.
Oh yeah, no, you might as well throw that motherfucker away at this point.
It's gonna happen eventually. Y'all gonna see it.
Okay, all right.
Now that I'm thinking of another team that's actually like probably in the same position as the Thunder, the Utah Jazz, who went through a complete retooling, basically just saying, starting over, wiping the slate clean.
Yeah. They said the store is open. We open 24/7. Come, hurry up and buy. Man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they said you like. Hey, they said you like them. All right, well, give us a first round pick.
Give us a first and keep it pushing.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know how I don't know what the Timberwolves was smoking.
They gave up a boatload for Mr.
They gave up the house to an in-division rival. Well, maybe not a rival, but an in-division team. The Jazz got 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, and 5 players. 5 players for Rudy Gobert, who can't hit a hook shot consistently. Now, don't get me wrong. Rudy is a great defensive center.
But that's where it stops.
Not versatile, but great defensively. But hey, man. But I think that just to touch on the Jazz as far as like their offseason with that trade, they're doing what they should do. They're not confused on what they're doing, and they're not confused on what they are.
Exactly.
They said we are completely resetting. We're not mincing fences. We're not going halfway. We are completely retooling, restarting. And we also know, being in Utah, we're not going to get a bunch of free agents. So we don't want players. We're not going to build that way. We want to build through the draft so that we have control of guys for the first 5-6 years in the league. And if we can build a winning culture, then that will be what attracts people. But we're not going to get it through free agency. That's not going to happen. So I will commend them for knowing that situation, because a lot of teams don't know when and what they should be doing and what they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, they traded Rudy Gobert. They traded Bogdan. I mean, obviously they traded Mitchell to Cleveland
Yeah.
for Sexton and Markkinen and Ochai.
Yeah, they got
So
Najami, I think, yeah, Rabashi,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, to me, their entire player acquisition, uh, what's the word? Player acquisition concept, I should say, or philosophy is, in my opinion, just to get movable contracts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they picked up a rookie in Ochai who could be a good piece to either keep or move. I mean, he's young. You picked up Markkinen, a stretch big who played well last year, can also be moved, and they also picked up Colin Sexton, a 20 point per game scorer in this league on a decent efficiency. I should also say that I feel like people don't really know that because I feel like people just kind of assume he's just a chucker.
Yeah, they kind of
But
just wrote
like
him off, but he was
when
consistent
when
with the shots.
yeah, when he be chucking that shit be going in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then they still have Clarkson and Conley. These are all movable. Well, maybe not Conley's contract at this point, but
Conley probably staying put for a while.
that contract is disgusting. I'm pretty sure, but all these other pieces are definitely movable, and ain't no way in hell all of them finish this season. I
Yeah,
feel like Jordan Clark is going to be going by the All-Star break,
yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. But as far as like looking at like how they did things with kind of like their youth movement, I mean, even as far as like rookies, like I mean, Johnny Juzang, I like it a lot actually. I feel like he could be an important piece moving forward. Kessler, from looking at the preseason like play, he might prove his worth to this team. I mean, Abaji pretty much is kind of like he's like an outlier. Like I said, like he could. I feel like he could be there. He could not be. Depending on like how the first like couple months go. And then
Mm-hmm.
like this Fontecchio dude, like I think it's like Simone Fontecchio. His jumper looked kind of nice, and I didn't know who this guy was until like halfway through last month, and he got a chop. So I mean, he's not small either. So I mean, the way that they're doing things is kind of like how it was with the Mitchell period, as far as them, like I said, controlling how long they have those guys, or just like if I'm getting them homegrown, I'm not really losing any money. So they know what their formula is and what they should definitely be looking at, and it's gonna be rough. Basically, like the Thunder and a couple other teams, it's gonna be rough for them. They're gonna lose a couple of games. They're gonna get punched in the mouth a lot.
Oh, the Jazz are gonna suck.
Yeah,
No, no,
they're
the Jazz are for the next in my 4 years. I can see them being very, very bad, like
yeah,
extremely bad. Because they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna commit until they feel that they have like a championship level like contender again, or like something, or somebody that can kind of be on that on that route. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Which I mean,
and I
yeah,
mean, and
it'll
I
be a
wou't
minute before
necessarily
they
be
get to
mad at
that
it.
point with like a Markin and a Sexton. Like unless like pretty much how they I think when it was originally happening, like unless those guys just like magically become him overnight, and then like they go on a streak of like like now it clicks or whatever, the Jazz are probably gonna be using a lot of them picks that they stashed up for.
Backcourt of Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson might be the wildest thing we might see next year.
Yeah.
Might be the most out of pocket shot selection we might see all year.
Just taking turns, either going straight to the 10 or just taking a step back three with a hand in their face.
Man. But man, shit, Jordan gonna be like, hey, shit, fuck it. I'm gonna put that bitch up, and I'm not mad at him
Yeah,
for it.
from what I
You
was
know,
saying, like Jordan definitely is. He not gonna care. Y'all see y'all rebuilding? Bet. Let me just shoot.
facts. They also flipped Royce O'Neal. I mean, we kind of already talked about it with the Nets, but
Yeah,
they flipped him as well for the got a first. So I mean, they're definitely stockpiling picks for the future. So yeah,
yeah,
I think that's enough about about Utah.
yeah. got the two pick orders out the way, more or less. See
Go to
what
the Wolves, man.
you said, a Little Wolves, yeah, Wolves.
Yeah, it's a segue to Rudy.
Oh yeah, perfectly, yeah, because they gave up a bunch for that
Yeah,
man right
yeah,
there.
they did. So yeah, we'll just kind of go right into it with the Wolves. Their big acquisition. They traded for Rudy Gobert, as we previously mentioned. 4 firsts, a pick swap, and 5 players, including Pat Bev and Jared Vanderbilt, which were pretty notable players in their rotation.
Yeah,
Um, However, the rest of the free agency, they were able to sign Kyle Anderson from the Grizzlies, a great pickup for wing depth and just basketball, just basketball goodness.
yeah,
He just
just IQ.
makes good plays, plays good basketball. Has a desire to do whatever the team needs of him to do. They also signed Austin Rivers, backcourt depth, a good vet, uh, can shoot, can drive a little bit, good locker room guy, I think. And they also signed Bryn Forbes, knockdown shooter. So
Yeah.
not mad at those free agent picks. Um, what do you got? Anything to say about those free agents signings?
Um. Yeah, I mean, not much really outside of Whoops cover. I mean, Kyle Anderson, like you said, a good veteran presence. Bryn Forbes, pretty much as well. I'm trying to figure out, like, did he really have that prominent of a role for the Nuggets, or was it like a
For
sparing role?
Forbes or
Yeah,
Rivers?
Bryn Forbes.
I mean, I wouldn't say that much. I feel like his most prominent roles came when he was like on the Bucks.
Yeah,
I probably would
yeah,
say were his like most prominent roles
yeah. The Bucks probably
where he was
getting
just
like his biggest shine.
green light.
Yeah,
He had when he was in, he was just pulling that bitch. Shit was crazy.
yeah. I mean, even that, like, I mean, I feel like at this point, like, is it safe to say that, like, not to say that Pascal is like, anything like being seen as anything more than what he should have been, but like I feel like on paper, Pascal just been getting flung around since the Warriors, and
Well, because the thing is, like, I feel like he was kind of people. Not to say that he doesn't belong in the NBA, because I'm not going that route with this, but it's one of those things where like people realize he was just putting up numbers on like a bad team. Like I very rarely feel that the whole kind of empty calorie thing is like a real thing. Mainly because
yeah,
it's usually applied to like players that are elite that you can see when they play. Like people put that narrative on like Devin Booker and like other players of Zach Levine's. They put those labels on those players, but you can see the elite level play. But like somebody like Eric, who was averaging like double digits on that bad Warriors team, I just don't think it was really sustainable. I kind of reminds me of like the Kevin Knox situation. Like his rookie year, he was averaging, I want to say, like 14 points, and like he hasn't really played
since then.
anywhere. Yeah, he hasn't really played anywhere for real since then. He's been on teams, but hasn't really played that much in other places.
Hmm.
So yeah, but excuse me. I mean, we can talk about the Wolves draft. So I mean, they did draft Walker Kessler, who at the time I was very confused on the pick, but he got traded to the Jazz. So
Like
uh,
mentally clean, more or less.
yeah, not yet. But they also drafted Wendell Moore, a good pick in my opinion. He's got potential, and I think he can also play now. So I think that's a very good pick for them. And then Josh, you can tell me, you can correct me if I'm wrong with this name. Manute,
Uh, I want to say it might be Manat, but it might be
Manat.
pronounced way differently. It might be Manat, but I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean that was also a good pick, I think, as well.
yeah,
Second round.
got it from a really gritty Memphis team the prior year. I think he's a power forward, so should help them with their front court depth as far as. Well, if I don't know if he'll play, but if he does touch the floor, I mean, nice
Yeah,
little athletic
he's
forward.
6'7". Yeah, potentially. I mean, do they still have Nas?
Nas Reed, I believe. I
Yeah,
believe
they
so.
still do.
Yeah.
He's still there. So he might actually not play that much because right now I'm assuming that they're gonna run Carl at the 4, Rudy at the 5, and then have Nas as like the backup for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, at least in the
And then
preseason, they've been
kind of
using that
mix that.
Nathan Knight, so might give them some burn
Yeah,
at the 5.
I mean maybe I don't see I don't know if Rudy is gonna finish games at the 5. It would probably be it's probably better for to finish Carl at the 5 honestly. Because I
Yeah.
mean, there's no team in the West that's even running two bigs besides maybe the Lakers. But I mean, they got to get to the playoffs to even be considered in this conversation. Everybody else is just running one big. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't even think it's that really that necessary. But
Especially on
yeah,
most
I
nights
mean,
where it's gonna be on most nights where like teams probably aren't probably even if Gobert has like a matchup like advantage, he's not even gonna attack it. So in most cases, you're gonna
oh,
end up
absolutely not. No,
they're gonna end up having Cat back at the 5 just for
yeah.
they're gonna disguise it like they're giving Rudy a break, but in reality, it's mainly because there's nobody worried about the 5. Defensively, you're gonna be
Well,
fine, but
all them shots he was taking in Utah, them 16 points, that shit is gone. Um, and it's not even an insult. It's just like, bro, you're gonna be on a team with Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns, and D'Lo, and Beasley, if I'm not mistaken, if he's still on this team. So I
I don't think
mean,
Beasley's in Utah
that's
yet.
a Beasley's in Utah. Okay, he was one
Yeah,
of the players.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, excuse me. So yeah, but still, you still have the core of D'Lo and Carl. It's a lot of shots, a lot of scoring, all better than you significantly offensively.
yeah.
So
So even
um,
McDaniel's. So it's like, say even like if Cat's on the bench, I mean, if they subbed in McDaniel's, he was putting the ball on the
yeah,
floor. So another guy taking shots away. So
I think Rudy is probably going to be a 10-10 guy playing elite defense and focusing on that, which is good. I mean, I think that's what he should be doing. So,
yeah,
I mean,
give him
I
less
think
to
the
worry
real
about,
question,
and they'll probably get the best player out of him.
yeah, I agree. I think the real question to ask about this team is, should we be looking at them like a contender? I think so. Well,
Yeah,
I think so. What I mean by that, I think so. As far as we should ask that question, I don't know if I said that they're a contender yet, but I think we should ask that question because I mean, I don't know about you, but I expect a predictable third year leap from Ant.
oh for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I think he's on that level as like of those young stars. So I expect heavy on the expect a huge leap, like 25 to like 28 points a game. Like that's what I expect. I mean, bro has every tool at his disposal, like elite level athleticism, slashing ability, finishing, 3-level score, got that dog in him too. Like
yep.
this team, there's no reason why they shouldn't be looking at themselves and be like, hey, any given night we should be able to play with anybody.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, and let's be clear, bro. Like they smoked the playoffs last year. Like they should have beat the Grizzlies. Like they
I was just
smoked
gonna
it.
say that like a team that really wasn't as prepared as they probably like should have been, or at least to know what to do with a lead that they had on multiple occasions, they probably should have
Facts.
been in the second round last year. So
Exactly.
yeah, and for
Yeah.
them to have gotten for them to have gotten like a proven rim protector, you move you move one of the better scoring bigs in the league to the 4, where I feel like he would be more comfortable.
Facts. And I think and to get those quality signings that they got, especially I think the Kyle Anderson and Austin Rivers uh, signings are pretty huge, personally. So yeah, this
Yeah,
team should be looking at themselves like, hey, we can be that team to take a leap and kind of make a run for the conference finals or even the finals. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They have the talent. They really do. Now I think they need to establish the pecking order.
Oh, but who gets the shots more,
because
Chris? Yeah.
it's just more so. It's just like as much as I love Carl and I know how talented Carl is, but I mean he's had many years to like. I don't think he's not that quote unquote number one.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like
because
if
I was gonna
Ant can
ask,
turn
like,
into
how
what
would
he's
you
supposed to turn into,
how would you rank them?
yeah, it should be Ant's team. That's how it should be going forward. I think that Carl is just as talented for like for his position that Ant is, but it's just like, and Carl is just now starting to kind of give me some signs of of that, but like it's just not consistent enough. Like there were games in the playoffs where like he wasn't going crazy, and like there was nobody on that team that should have been able to guard him. Like
Almost
you know what I
definitely.
mean? Like
Like if you want to
it
use
was
Steven Adams, who's slower too,
Junius.
he should be going crazy.
Or yeah, Steve. Okay, Steven Adams. Yeah, there's no reason like, bro, you can stretch out to the three. Like I like Steven Adams, but come on, like it shouldn't have been any issue. You should have been that should have been barbecue chicken for you. Like you should have been cooking.
Yeah.
Should have been averaging 30 easy, and he just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like he should have been completely dominating that series. So it's just like I feel like right now, and I feel like I've said this in the recent previous years before they got Ant. You know, I was saying I would have liked to see Carl with like play with like a true number one option, you know, like a Curry or somebody like that. But I mean, they have Ant Edwards, so I
Yeah.
think he's going to turn into that. And if he can, they gonna be scary, man. They gonna be scary.
Yeah. So let's say, I mean, yeah, having D'Lo move into kind of having D'Lo move into like that third kind of scoring slot, kind of like how it would be for like Cat to kind of like swap the number one scoring role with Ant. It works out a lot better just because I feel like I said, Ant has 3 level ability. So if he's slashing and scoring at a high level, it opens up the door for a lot of the players on the team. The way D'Lo plays, I don't think at this point in his career it really opens up much for a guy like Ant, who, like, if Russell's cooking from the perimeter, I mean, Ant got to have the ball in his hands to get downhill, so it doesn't really benefit in that factor. So
I mean, I think it can benefit, but I think specifically for D'Lo, he has to understand his role. You are going to be the third fiddle. You know, like you're the point guard. Worry about facilitating and scoring after, you know, like you're not the focal point. I vividly remember last year he called his own number for like the last possession shot in the game. If I think it was in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like you have a monster on the block, and you have Michael Jordan's illegitimate son on the right side of you.
and the thing is,
So
like we're no, Ant was cooking
yes,
that entire series. Like, not that I really reflect about it. Ant, did he have a? I forgot what he averaged in the playoffs, but he was going
I want to say
nuts.
like game 6 or like game 5 or game 6, he hit that like corner three to tie it, but
Yeah,
then he made just a terrible defensive mistake on Ja Morant to give him that layup to win the game.
yeah. Let the
It
lane
might not
wide
have been game
open.
5 or 6, but like yeah, it was one of them games in the playoffs. But it's just like no, he had his moments for sure, man. I mean, yeah, he averaged 25 points, shot 40% from three. So I mean, yeah, that's like 4 points above his season average. So yeah, he was cooking. You're right. Yeah, he was cooking.
Yeah. So it's like at that point, like, yeah, that's yeah. Before we segue into another team, that's probably like the main takeaway, honestly, for them to go into the season. Like, hey, get Michael Jordan the third the ball, and
Exactly.
yeah, let him go crazy. That's basically it.
This team talent wise, they can be there. They can be there. I
Yeah,
look forward to it.
yeah. Going to another team that's probably in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Portland
Oh
Trailblazers.
shit. Oh shit. They're not gonna be in the sweepstakes. They got Dame.
Yeah, I mean, it's like looking at this team. Like, I know they got Dame, but for
They're
some,
not gonna. I don't think
yeah,
they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're
yeah,
not gonna be. They're not gonna be that bad though.
yeah. It's like the same way you kind of felt about like you felt bad for SGA. I felt bad for Lillard, but Lillard re-up,
He,
so he knows
I
what
mean,
he's
he did
getting
it.
for.
He did it to himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did it to himself. He didn't listen to nobody. Listen, he had people telling him, "Hey, man, it's okay. You just leave." KG told him, "Hey, man, it's okay. I did the same thing you did. Just leave."
you could
He
let them
wouldn't. He
know
wouldn't
when
do
they
it.
failed you. You could leave.
Yeah, like you. And listen, I don't think I've seen a situation like Dame's before, where like the majority of people who just like everybody just wants him to leave. Like, bro, we want to see you with another dog, bro. Like, we want to see you with like a Giannis or a AD, like or a Bron or a KD. Like, we want to see it. Like,
Yeah,
bro, like we saw you take this team, you and CJ take this team to the conference finals. Like, we saw it. It's like, bro, if you just had like what a Kawhi, like, bro, it would be crazy. But he made his decision.
yeah.
Um, and we won't see it. But I mean, the Blazers made good pickups though. They did.
Yeah,
So
they
I
tried,
mean,
made an effort.
they're one. Yeah, they're one of the teams where I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I also can't tell you that I know for sure how it's going to go, if that makes sense. Like their off season, I mean, they added. I mean, I know, I know, I know you don't like Grant too much, but
Yeah, not anymore.
I
But
mean,
it's a good pickup nonetheless for them.
at worst, he's a good player. Like at worst, he's between a role player and a fringe level all star. Like he's in that range. He's like the Aaron Gordons, Tobias Harris range.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like on being a second option on this team, he very well could be to get up to 20 points a game. I think that's what they're going to expect him to be around, at least in that category. You know what I mean? I mean, and as well, I mean they picked up Gary Payton uh, from the Warriors. It's a very good pickup. He brings championship level pedigree, elite level defense,
yeah.
elite level finisher. You know what I mean? He can play multiple positions somehow. I don't know how, but he does it.
Run him at the four if you need to, type stuff. Run him out
Yeah,
there with Dirk.
like, yeah, and they brought Nurk back on a 4 year deal. Well, he's a walking double double. I mean, he still provides value,
Yeah,
especially offensively. I don't know too much defensively, but
he
you know
gets
what I
in the
mean. I
paint.
mean,
That's pretty
yeah.
much it. Yeah.
I mean, and also like they still have Alfred Simmons. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think last year was really good for him to like have people out and just be like, all right, hey, just go out there and score, bro. Go out there and do your thing, and you can cook up. And he had a great season, and he's starting to come into his own as well. So it's just like you got all these guys, around Dame. I wouldn't say that any of them are all-star level players, at least perennially. But like, there's some talent around them, and if it works out, it could work out, man. You know, playing team maybe.
Yeah.
At least so we can try to get Dame back in the playoffs. I mean, um, who else did they add in free agency?
Um, I think outside of that, it was mainly just like them getting rookies.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, the draft they took, we know they took Shaden Sharp. Um, that wasn't the draft pick that I well, that's not what I would have done. I think I was advocating for them to move that pick for somebody else because I thought that since they were able to get Grant and keep that draft pick, I thought for sure that they were going to be able to package it for like another like star player.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Ananobi
um,
was in there running for that pick. Like they were gonna trade that for Ananobi and somebody else. I forgot or another pick.
yeah, I heard about that, but I wasn't. I wanted him to try to get like a star player. I don't know. I don't know if anybody was really available, but well, actually, no. I know at the time people were talking about like Beal and or Levine with that pick before Beal signed that contract extension as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, they took Shaden Sharp. So I mean, I'm not mad at that pick just because his potential is like crazy high, like probably top 3 in this draft as far as potential.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one knows if he's really going to get there. But like he at his best, he could be a All Star, All NBA type player. But we just got to see. And he's not really on Dame's timeline though either, unless he develops like fast as hell.
Yeah.
And that would be unfair to ask him to do so. So I mean, I think there'll be a play-in team, maybe like 10, or fighting for 10 or 11. Mainly because I think in the beginning of the season, I think they're really going to try to compete, and then they're going to realize probably halfway through that, we're not. It's not going as we thought it was, and you know,
Pack it up. One more
yeah,
year.
pack it up. Yeah.
But yeah. And well, I guess we get to the Nuggets at this
Oh
point.
damn, he said I ain't got nothing to say about the Blazers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Blazers, like, outside of the fact that, like, I feel bad for Dame, even though he's doing it to himself. It's like it's mainly just like a development thing, as far as like you said, Sharp. If Sharp turns into what
Mm.
people thought he was, as far as like in high school, he was literally like cooking. He skimped out on
He was
college.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was him.
yeah. So it's like if all those things come to fruition, and plus also the health thing, because I don't think Nurk has been healthy for a full season since like what the first couple playoff runs they had. So
It's been a while. He hasn't been consistent.
yeah, so it's one of them things where if I had to project where they would probably be, I project another losing season. As bad as it would be for Dame, because I know he wants to bring Portland that ring so bad. But
I hate to break it to him.
yeah, it's like hey, he'd be better off giving a ring to the place that he makes his music at, which is right out there in Cali. But
Yeah, he should have brought his ass to Cali.
man, one of them, like either like Clippers.
No, 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 not one of them, or not both of them, just one of them. That purple and gold.
Man.
Nobody want Dame in no blue. That don't even sound right.
Yeah, he do be strolling though. He be
Man,
doing it. He be doing it. Hey, the way he be jigging, that's blue jersey energy. I can't lie.
nobody want him in that disgusting ass blue and red. Anyways,
Yeah,
we're talking about
yeah.
you,
Denver
we're
Nuggets.
moving on to the Nuggets. All
Yeah.
right, bet it. Man, so listen, Denver, I like their offseason that they had, free agent wise. I mean, they traded Will Barton and Monte Morris for Kentavious, Caldwell Pope, and Ish Smith. And while I don't think Ish Smith is going to get a lot of minutes, Kentavious is a great pickup. I mean, that is a 3 and D level wing that can do a little bit off the dribble. Championship level wing, I might add, won a championship.
DNA.
Um, yeah, exactly. And moving Monte Morris. I mean, I think the main reason for that move is the emergence of Bones Highland. So moving him allows them to give more minutes to Bones, which they like. I mean, they definitely like what they saw last year. I think everybody liked what they saw last year from him. So
Mm-hmm.
getting him more minutes, and then the Bruce Brown signing. Getting Bruce from the Nets. I mean, I think that's huge. Personally, I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you think?
Um. Yeah, kind of a little bit of the same. I mean, to the average person, they would probably think that they lost a lot as far as like even like not even like really through trade, but as well like Compazzo, who was like a rotational piece, he kind of just walked. They lost Bryn Forbes to Minnesota, like we talked about earlier. Austin
Yeah,
Austin Rivers as well. But the main thing with the Nuggets really wasn't that they didn't have like it wasn't really like their rotational pieces. It was the fact of they didn't have the two main pieces that could help each
yeah.
other, which was Jamal
And I think
Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
And I think that's probably why they were okay with losing a lot of the guys that they lost because I think their mentality was, okay, we have a supernova in Jokic.
Yeah,
We don't really need all these other offensive guys if we're you know for banking on Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. anyway, because we're not going to win with these other guys anyway. So if these two aren't healthy, we're not going to win regardless. So we might as well focus on our weaknesses, and offense is not one of them. So like let's focus our offseason on getting two-way level players, energy guys that are gonna come in and do the dirty work. Get on the floor, bring that toughness. Contavious for the defense, Bruce Brown for the toughness and defense. I mean, like, think
yeah,
they address their issues or some of their issues pretty nicely. And I mean, if they're healthy, man,
yeah. That's like
you know,
their main thing, which at least from looking at like it's a random side note that I kind of looked at like after watching. I forgot who they played, but or even like in two games that I've seen. Ish Smith. I don't know what.
it's just
Yeah,
always gonna be
yeah.
dripping.
It's like I don't know what his offseason regimen was, but like, cause like during regular seasons, I know people have said like Ish Smith can cook, but I've never actually
He's
seen it.
Yeah, no, A. Smith has been a very, I mean, not say very, he's been a good player in this league, but like he's been on. I think he has the record for like most teams or something that he's been on in like the amount of years or something like that. He's been on a lot of
Oh, he
teams.
he's been
He's
flipped.
just bounced around a whole lot, but he's been productive.
Yeah.
He's been on a lot of teams. Also, I want to also kind of touch on the other ones. They signed Devon Reed, a guard that they had on a 2 day, a few 10 day contracts. They ended up giving him a 2 year extension. They also signed DeAndre Jordan for whatever reason that I will never understand. But
They got him
I
though.
mean, I really like. I don't really understand why they didn't just bring back DeMarcus Cousins. He was great for them.
Yeah, plus especially as
Like
far as like this like a spacing aspect, or just as far as like a big that could come in and not just kind of be like standing room.
I mean, he to me, he kind of allows them to run a lot of the same actions that you would with Jokic if when Jokic is out. He's a skilled big that can pass, can shoot, can cook from the post.
Yeah,
Like it's Boogie. Like I mean, yeah, like defensively he's gonna be probably an issue, but I mean, so is DeAndre Jordan at this point with nowhere near the offense that DeMarcus Cousins is,
yeah.
and yet DeMarcus is doesn't have a job. I don't. I really tell me how he keeps getting jobs. I don't get it.
Yeah, and the
How
thing
does
is,
he keep getting
maybe yeah,
signed?
maybe it's in a weird
He's,
way because like I've seen Cousins like because Cousins is very vocal about the fact that like the outside perspective is the reason that he doesn't get probably like as many contracts or he doesn't stay on as many teams as he should.
I agree, and
It
that's
yeah,
unfair,
and it is a question of like what is Jordan doing to ensure.
bro. Like he's had. Let me let me just. I'm just to take a quick detour about with DeAndre Jordan. So his last three stops: Philly, LA, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
He was terrible in all of them, bro. Like he was terrible in all of them to the point where he got waived or traded in all of them. Like, bro, he wasn't good in New York. He was decent in Dallas, but like, yeah, bro,
yeah,
like he's not. I don't. Uh, I listen. I'm gonna stop blaming DeAndre. I just don't know how he keeps getting jobs, and I don't understand signing for the Nuggets. He's not the defensive guy that he was anymore. That is not him. So
yeah. But then like I said, like if he's like the bunnies are obviously gone. He's not catching lobs. This isn't the Clippers. Um, he still can't shoot. The free throws have gone back to being like see Dallas might have fooled people because in Dallas he started making his free throws and people were like, oh maybe Jordan is being useful in something. It's like no, it's right back to square one. But
I mean, he did improve on his free throw shooting, but it's just like he's not getting the looks like that, so it really don't matter.
yeah, or like he's not even forcing himself to the line that much when he touches the ball. Like he what was that like a fast break off a rebound where he just kind of threw the ball and like the guy was in the middle of the court, but the ball ended up out of bounds.
Man, I couldn't even tell you, man.
It's
I
like
just know that.
like his coordination is very much non. It's not there as much as it used to be.
Yeah. And like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not. He, how am I gonna say this? He could play somewhere in the league, sure, probably.
Yeah.
This just makes no sense. And the fact that one, there are significantly better options available than him on the team and off the team. Like Zeke, Najee should be playing over him like unequivocally. Like I don't even expect him to be taking his minutes because that doesn't make sense. But I just don't get the signing at all. I don't think it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, shoot. Anyway, also the Nuggets also they extended Vlatko Konkar,
Yeah.
if you're
He look.
familiar.
Yeah. He looked pretty
He's
good.
he's yeah, he's had some good flashes. As a shooter and kind of moving off the ball and within the system. So I mean, definitely if you can get anytime you can get a potential shooter to play with a player like Jokic, I mean it's definitely a plus. And then they also drafted Christian Braun and Peyton Watson. I remember the Christian Braun because we flamed that pick.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at him play, I mean, I guess there's some things he does right, except for the fact that I see him on a fast break, literally like waiting for a defender and almost blowing a dunk. But I guess that comes with due time. But I mean, the Peyton Watson draft pick, I mean,
he
it might be a
he
gas,
has
but I mean,
potential.
yeah, you kind of get a baby Porter. Probably not with the shooting touch like as immediate, but he kind of can do some things, and he does have height. So
Yeah, I think he has. I mean, he has to be developed. But like, you're coming out of high school, he was like very highly regarded. But then college performance, he
yeah,
had some struggles. So I mean, he's raw, but definitely potential is there. I mean, neither of these guys, I think, are gonna play at all.
yeah. Or if they
Um,
do, probably not like like if all of those guys stay healthy, like if Murray and Porter aren't missing extended time, they're probably barely gonna see like the little garbage time minutes, like the last 4 to 5 in a blowout.
yeah, yeah.
But
But hey man, this is the question. This is well, not the question, but this is the part that I want to talk about the most with this team.
yep.
It's time. It's
Hmm.
time. You know what time it is? It's time. I need if you're that guy, two-time MVP, all of that good jazz. If you are that guy, I need to show me. I need it. I need a finals appearance. I need either a finals appearance or like a 7 game just dogfight war in the Western Conference Finals, and you averaging like 35. So, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you got to show me, bro. Like I'm not one of those people that acts like Jokic hasn't balled out in the playoffs because he has. He definitely is. He has and he is.
Yeah.
But if Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are going to be healthy, and you're that guy, you're two-time MVP, beating out Giannis and Embiid 2 years in a row, basically.
Yeah, this is
Then
definitely a prove it year for him as far as show the world why they gave you these MVP awards or why you've earned
yeah, I mean,
MVP
because it's just
awards.
like, shit. The last time Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray were healthy, you were in the Western Conference Finals.
And Murray was going crazy. Let me tell you.
He was, but Jokic is also playing well too. He kind of gets a bad rap because Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis had some good moments against him. But but guess what? Dwight
Yeah.
Howard is a former 3-time player of the year, and Anthony Davis is a top 75 player for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in prime, in shape, Anthony Davis. That's not no easy defensive matchup. You know what I mean? So like, I get that, but yeah, man, I know somebody. I mean, somebody's gonna disappoint me. I know this. This is how it is.
Somebody out of the three.
But Jokic, listen, I need a Western Conference Finals at minimum. At minimum, and I don't care who's in front of you. I don't. I listen. I don't care if you got the Warriors in the first round. You better kick them niggas out.
Man,
you have to edit that one because that just came out. You gonna have to kick them boys out. But hey, I'm just talking. I'm talking the real man. If listen, for the past 2 years, everyone has been telling me, you know, he's this, he's that, the analytics, all that, and I get it. He's great. You know, he's one of him. He's him. I get it. But there are levels to being him, and if you are on that level of him, the Giannis's, the KDs, people are telling me he's top 3 players in the league according to like certain lists.
yeah.
If you are that, and your supporting cast is healthy, then I need it. I just need it. Especially when like I look back at what you did the last time the team was healthy. Like,
Yeah, but say like
you lost to LeBron.
Yeah, because I don't think that people were saying as far as like the expectations, because people knew that like those three together rolling is a championship.
That's scary, bro. Yeah, like exactly. I mean, you lost to LeBron. You know, come on now. Lots of people.
At some point, everybody's gonna lose to LeBron. If you're making it to the top, or you're like your road to the top, you're going through Bron at some point.
Facts. Ask Steph. Ask KD. They asked Tim. Yeah. They've all played. I mean, they've all played him in the finals. They've all beaten him, but they've also all lost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's what I need from that team and that Joker.
Yeah, I do definitely see them. Shoot, where were they at last year?
They were a 6 seed, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or no. Well, let me check to make sure, because they played the Warriors in the first round. I think the Warriors were a 3 seed.
Yeah, I think they made it to third.
Let's see. 21-22. Yeah, the Warriors were a 3 seed because the Grizzlies were 2. So yeah, they played the Warriors in the first round. Yeah. If they would have won one more game or 2 more games, they ended up playing the Mavericks in the first round. Probably would have won because Luka didn't play the first 3 games. Yeah, they probably would have won that one. Talk about seeding. That might have changed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jazz are getting clapped by whoever they play, but you know.
Yeah, that was much certain. Yeah. But yeah, the Nuggets. Now that I think about it, because like, they weren't that low last year, but I mean, I'll put this: is it possible for them to get back into top 5 seeding, or is it kind of like?
I expect it. Yeah. Listen, man. I the amount of expectations I have on this Nuggets team extremely high. Extremely. I just remember like thinking back like a couple years ago, 3 years ago now, when they played the Lakers, and everybody's like, they're young, they'll be back. This core will be back. Okay, well now it's later. You know what I mean? Like it's time.
Had a couple years to simmer.
Yeah, like it's time, bro. Like, I mean, Jokic won 48 games being everything for this team, basically. And now you get back. I mean, essentially, you get back 2 all-star caliber players, yeah. two guys that can and more than likely will average 20 plus points a game. You know, and that are going to be able to take pressure from you, and they can both create off the dribble and get their own shots in different ways. Also, mind you.
Yeah.
and at different heights as well. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, like I have high expectations. I expect this Nuggets team to be a top three seed, one, and two to get to a Western Conference Finals. The top three seed just because like there are certain teams in the regular season that are just going to be able to win games that in the regular season in like different ways. So like teams like the Warriors, that they play that Warrior level of basketball all the time. It takes a certain amount of focus to really like defend that consistently, and like a lot of teams don't feel like doing that every night. So they're going to win a lot of games. Same thing with the Suns. Suns play move the ball, play disciplined basketball, all of that. Grizzlies just play hard every
Yeah.
night and defend every night. You know what I mean? The Nuggets with Jokic and all that movement, like there are just certain teams that are just capable of winning a lot of games just by playing their style of basketball. So like I really I expect it, man. I really do. I expect a top three seed. I mean, I think the top three seeds are going to be probably the Nuggets, Warriors, and that third seed is a toss up for me. I might throw some more names in there later on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So I thought there's at least four
yeah,
teams
man.
that could be top three in the West. One, three being interchangeable, like depending on how everything works. But
For sure.
yeah, but
But yeah, those are that's the Atlantic and the what is it, the Northwest?
yeah, Northwest division breakdowns.
For sure.
Next breakdowns. Well, the next divisions. I have no idea.
Let's do for the next one. Let's do Central and Southwest.
Central and Southwest.
Yeah, so Central is well, you know who's in the Central. That's your boys. And then the Southwest
Obviously,
is the Grizzlies, Pelicans, Mavericks, Rockets, and Spurs.
my other boys, the Pelicans.
Hey, listen, that might be my third team
uh,
because also high expectations.
yeah,
Maybe not championship level expectations, but they're my candidate for like that breakout team. It seems like every year there's a team that breaks out with like a young star and kind of shocks the world. Now they already have young stars, or a young star and another proven scorer, and they're just bringing in just an all NBA player basically. Come on in, come back.
yeah. But
So
man, that's a lot to dive into. But shoot, I forgot to do this. I have to do the last part. Well, the Twitter, yeah, the social medias, the going for three pod. The Twitter is gonna come back being active at some point. Just give us some time. Probably, you know, get a bit work in progress to building that back up, and the Instagram as well, probably. Um, so where could these fine people follow you at?
you can follow me at Chris D Collins on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find me on Twitter at PTP_99. We appreciate you guys for listening. If you guys are from the prior listening group and we've returned, we appreciate you. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.